In today's video, I'll share with you my checklist of 10 things to check before pushing the record button. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a more experienced filmmaker. Everybody forgets things. Everybody makes mistakes. So to help you avoid bad surprises on set or when you start editing your videos, here's a checklist that should help you avoid common blunders. Let's start with the easy stuff by checking if your batteries are full and your media cards are empty. If you're shooting outside, make sure to take enough batteries with you. And if you're shooting inside, I advise that you bring along your battery charger. For the media cards, it's usually best to format them before going on set and to bring more than one with you. Be mindful of your media card's capacity. I usually bring twice the space I need, so I don't have to worry about it while shooting. And I try to do the same with battery power. Take a moment to assess the framing and background of your shot. Make sure that there's sufficient space behind your subject so that the depth of field can work its magic, allowing them to stand out effectively. Additionally, pay attention to your composition and rely shamelessly on the rule of thirds. For a medium close-up, when your subject is looking to the left side of the frame, position them so that the line on the right goes through their head. As for the upper horizontal line, it often aligns with the eyes or eyebrows. While achieving good framing is subjective to some extent, use your judgment and strive to create a well-balanced and appealing shot. Once you're satisfied with your composition, take a quick look at your frame and make sure that there are no bags or pieces of gear inside. Your camera bag, the flaps of your light, or all kinds of personal belongings have a habit of photobombing your shots. Don't let them. Note that they often don't show too obviously on the little screen on the back of your camera, even less so in the viewfinder. So consider using an external monitor, 7 inches or bigger. Another way that your gear, your crew, or even yourself can find their way into your frame is through reflective surfaces. One common situation is when your subject is wearing glasses. This can also occur when there are windows or a glass wall in the background. There's really no easy way to fix it, except by placing your light strategically, using flags where necessary, and having the minimum amount of people on set. No bystanders allowed. Still on the subject of ridding your frame of undesirables, double check that the lav mic wires are properly concealed. I personally don't try to hide the mic capsule itself, unless of course I'm shooting fiction. But I really hate when the wires are visible under an interviewee's clothing, or sticking out from their jacket or jeans pocket. It's not terrible per se, but in my opinion it screams amateur. So I believe it's worth the extra time to clean up your shot. Since we're talking about mics, always check your audio levels. Make sure they're properly set to avoid distortion or clipping, even if you're shooting in 32-bit float. As a rule, forget about fixing it in post. Just get it right to start with. It's always better to use headphones to monitor audio quality, but keep in mind that your ears can also deceive you. Indeed, the audio level you hear may be good enough in your headset, but still too low on the recording side. The solution is to also check your levels visually. Anywhere in the yellow and orange area is good. The occasional peak in the red are okay too, but steer clear of the bottom green. Whether you're shooting indoors or outdoors, near a window or in a dimly lit room, using tungsten or daylight fixtures, make sure that all your cameras are set to the correct color temperature. This can be achieved by using a gray card to accurately set your white balance. In situations where you have mixed light sources, such as when your subject is illuminated by both a window and a light on set, for example, it's best to use a properly calibrated monitor and trust your eyes to adjust the color balance. It's now time to check the exposure levels of your shot. In short, it means making sure that your shadows aren't crushed and your highlights still offer enough details. Make use of the exposure tools available on your camera, such as histograms, waveform, zebra patterns, and false color. Unfortunately, not all cameras are made equal on this front. So if yours lacks one or more of these, it's once again better to trust your eyes with a good external monitor that incidentally may have measuring tools that your camera doesn't. Focus is crucial for a sharp and clear image, and it's even truer when you're shooting in 4K or higher. In a strange way, focus may be the first thing you set and the last one you check. It's also very easy to forget checking again after a last-minute framing adjustment. Also, to stay on the safe side, you want to avoid overly shallow depth of field, especially on corporate videos where clarity takes precedence over artistry. In an interview setup, I advise using an aperture around f4 or higher for your wide shot and avoid going below f2.8 for your close-up. Whenever possible, it's advisable to switch to manual focus. However, I understand that there are situations where autofocus is more practical, such as when shooting yourself, like I am right now. With that said, if you're manning the camera, there's no excuse for not putting focus yourself. As mentioned earlier, it's important to avoid an overly shallow depth of field. Here's a helpful tip. If your subject's nose is in focus but the eyes aren't, or vice versa, it's a sign that you need to close your iris and increase the depth of field. It may also require you to add light to compensate for the narrower iris. And there you have it, 10 things to check before pushing the record button. Now I must confess that most of these tips are based on mistakes I made when I first started out. But since we are sharing, I'm curious to hear about your experiences. Have you ever found yourself in situations where you forgot to check something important? Kindly share your embarrassing stories in the comment section below, as it can help all of us learn and avoid making the same blunders. In the meantime, thanks for watching and au revoir!